Hi everyone, it's me again. I'm Alan. Nice to meet you all. Today we have a new guest speaker. He is Eugene Cheung. Hi Eugene.
Hi, nice to
Hi,
meet
how
nice
are
to
you
meet all of
today?
you. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great too. Thank you so much. So Eugene is a year two student. He's studying a Bachelor of Commerce in University of British Columbia in Vancouver. And Eugene, you're currently in Vancouver, right?
Yes, I'm currently in
Okay.
Vancouver.
I think this is really common and a question that all of us would like to know. So why are you studying abroad? Why any reason that you would like to study abroad? Or especially why do you study in Vancouver now?
Well, so I guess for me, there's quite a lot of reasons why I chose to study abroad. Not only because maybe like I feel like I want to study abroad, but also like there are a few things in mind. So the first thing was me and my parents did discuss this before.
Mm,
That was they really want me to try to be independent in a way, like to live on my own and learn how to like the financial costs and everything and learn the
mm,
skills on my own rather than them teaching me how to do it. So we kind of discussed this for a long time, and they did want to give me this opportunity, and they felt like uni was the best time for it. Um, and then secondly, I think studying abroad for me is something that's brand new, because for me, I studied in international school in Hong Kong,
mm,
but I really want to understand like although it's an international school, we learn English and all that. We learn Mandarin and all that. But for me, I do want to learn about other cultures and like actually study in other countries to see like how different it is to study in an international school in Hong Kong and then actual like university in another country. So that was kind of why like in my mind, I was really interested to study abroad. For me, this might not apply to everyone, but because I do have a Canadian passport, so that
mm.
was also one of the main factors why I came to Canada, such that like I would be paying a domestic fee as well. So I'm not telling anyone to take advantage of that, but like that's something people would take into consideration as well.
Mm,
Fourth, I think for me in particular, I've been to Canada before in 2018, and I
mm,
did come to Vancouver to check out the campus. So when I first came to the campus, I guess because it was summer, so there weren't a lot of people in of it. But I was looking around the environment, and I felt like the environment was that was something I need from a university life, just because. So I like campuses that are like everything is concentrated in one area, so I can get whatever I need, and I don't have to travel too
mm,
far. As well as I feel like the spirit here at UBC is pretty good, like team spirit and everything. Everyone's pretty united, and like I feel like especially everyone from my faculty, which is Bachelor of Commerce, which we call Sauder School of Business, everyone seems to be very open, and also like they're willing to reach out to like like meet new friends and all that. And that's one of the things I've heard from previous students who are at UBC. So that's why
mm.
I did choose to study abroad here in Canada, specifically Vancouver.
I know that I know that there are a few programs you can apply in the system, the application system. How many programs did you apply and what are they?
You mean like in general, like what programs did I apply for each university?
Right. Is there a collective system for the students to apply for the courses? I mean, apply for the
Okay.
program.
You mean for Canada or do you
Yeah,
mean for okay.
in
So for
Canada.
Canada, it's so because they're different provinces, basically each state, each province has its own application system. So I think
Mm,
for Ontario, it's called OUAC. For BC, I don't think there is. So for BC, it's basically you apply directly with the university. Yeah, I think that's how you
oh,
do it. Not really sure. Don't take me, but I think that's how I did it before. Because
right.
back in high school, I was really lucky because I had a university counselor who helped me with everything, and like I did know like the process and everything, but it's just that I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. So I think for
Mm,
BC, you apply directly to the school. So if you're applying to SFU in Vancouver, then you apply directly with SFU. I think that's how you do it.
when did you get the offer? When like I believe you start the preparation ready by the summertime or the autumn time, right?
Yes. So around that time, I think it was, if I didn't get it wrong, it was 2019. That was
Mm,
when I had to almost finish all writing all my statements and all that and hand it in. Um,
mm,
I got all the offers. It was a very funny timing. I'm not really sure if I got lucky, but apparently in 2020, I don't know if you've heard that the IB exams were canceled.
yeah.
And then everyone was graded based on their predicted grades mostly. And lucky me, like, because everything was with my predicted grades. I think it was after they said it canceled, like suddenly a lot of universities sent their admission letters to me and said that I got accepted. So I'm not sure.
Oh.
I'm not sure if that was the case, but whatever it is, I got in. So yeah. So yeah, that's mainly how I got my offers. They came around, some came around April, May, and some as late as June. So that's why, like, when I was making my decision, it was
Mm.
pretty rushed because I had to wait for all the responses. Yeah.
So far, you have studied there for more than a year already.
Yes.
So, any differences of your expectation regarding the course structure, the course content, or what you are learning right now?
So obviously I would start this with saying uni is not easy. Like don't have the impression that because in uni you have the flexibility to go to classes and not, and like it's basically self-learning, then it's easy. It's not, I can tell you. I struggled. I've had my shares of struggles. I've had times where I pull out a lot of my hair. I don't sleep well. I don't sleep. That's like that
Ah,
definitely every single university student would go through. Um, but I would say my expectations were a little different with online
mm,
classes in particular because just because I don't get the ordinary uni experience that I've heard from everyone. So like at the start, we have the open day, and then they actually, like before COVID, everyone would actually go to campus, and then orientation
mm,
day, and then all that, and then start in class and all that. And for me it was very unique because I started off everything remotely. So even open day
right.
was remote, but they did the opening ceremony. They recorded it at the, it's called the UBC Thunderbird Arena. But then
Mm,
basically they did it like they recorded it like a live, and then we were to watch it. And then basically I was watching it all alone at home because back then, like basically I haven't met any friends from anywhere yet. So that was when my courses started too. It started off really weird because the feeling of, although I took some online classes during high school as well because of a lot of reasons around Hong Kong stuff and all that. But
mm,
it felt really weird at the start because it seemed really easy at the beginning. So like it seemed like, oh, like the content was pretty easy to understand. It seemed
mm,
like, I'm not sure how to describe it, but it seemed very easy to me. So
right.
in a way, I kind of thought it a little too simple. I was I got I got blurred by the fact that things get harder much quicker in uni, like because they have to go through a lot
Mm,
of content and it's more in depth.
mm,
So that's why I think it was at the end, the outcome at the end of term one, it was a little out of my expectation because I did procrastinate quite a bit since it was like online class. And as I also
mm,
mentioned before, that like a lot of the times when you're studying back in your own home country,
mm,
you do you get very tempted with everything that's happening around you since that's your home country and you're
mm,
you're used to living at your place. And like back
right.
then before COVID, like we go to school and then we only go home to rest and do homework. We don't do our classes there as well. So trying to, since suddenly we have a lot of that time at home, um sometimes it's hard to say that I can focus 100%. Yeah. Yeah,
Mm,
so that's something I think, if it was a piece of advice to all the students in the future who might be taking remote classes, is that uh that we get carried away very easily by a lot of things, especially in uni. We are given the
Mm,
flexibility to explore a lot of new things on our own.
mm.
And like, yeah. So yeah, do be
Just
do
to
be aware of that, and don't get carried away in like the easy content and everything. Remember to do your homework, read the reading and all that. Yeah, because that was something that I was lacking and I was not doing well back then, which was reflected in my grades. So I've learned my lesson. Yeah.
Mm. So there is always a illusion in the first term. Usually the first term is about the foundations, right? So the teacher
Yes.
just want to make sure that you are reminded that you have to know these kind of all basic stuff before we go to
Mm.
something advanced.
And
So yeah,
also,
so
I think
yeah.
another piece of advice would be in uni, they're very different from teachers back in high school. Because in high school, like
Mm,
the classes are a lot smaller. And I guess the teachers, like, it's a different world because in uni, you lecture 100 kids or you lecture 200 kids. So basically, the professor won't have time to actually look over your work for you or like actually remind you this and that. Whereas in high
mm,
school, they would remind you, like, oh, this homework is due next week. I guess what I'm trying to say is in uni, you need to actually be disciplined in a way. Like
right.
you have to be very organized. You have to be very aware of the deadlines. Actually, for me, it was tough because I'm not a person who is very organized as well. I like organizing, but I'm not organized. But yeah, so basically that's one piece of advice. Like do keep in mind that although we're giving this flexibility for self-learning and all that, don't
Mm,
forget that you still need to be disciplined and organized as well.
mm. How many exams will there be? Like one courses for one exam, or usually
Mhm.
they will have an assignment of each course to evaluate your marks.
Okay, so for this one, it really depends on the course.
Mm,
So I can only say from my standpoint because I'm in the business faculty. So I would say from
mm,
my experience, for a lot of the courses I took, usually there's a midterm and there's an actual final exam. I know for some courses, maybe like for computer science or something, they might have two midterms or three midterms along the way, and then a final exam. And But for me, there is usually one midterm and then one final exam. So the gap between the midterm and the final is usually 1 month apart or 1.5 month apart.
mm,
So it all, and then the second thing you would look at is it cumulative? So if it's cumulative, then basically your final exam would be an overview of everything you've learned. Whereas if it's not cumulative, then basically they're just like testing you on whatever they taught after the midterms. So it really depends. Yeah.
mm.
And
So
for
do you have
some, you don't have final exams. You have a final writing assignment. Yeah.
any group projects?
Yes. So for our faculty, because I think one of the goals they were trying to achieve was more like teamwork and communication, and like
Mm,
yeah. So basically, what they did was so in a lot of the courses I had, since it was online, especially, they started breakout rooms. I think you've heard of it. So breakout rooms
mm,
are basically like you break out into a room with like five
mm,
random students from your class, and then you talk with them, and then you do this in-class activity, or they will
mm,
assign you into breakout rooms, and then you'll start doing this project with them. Let's say for a course about morals and ethics, you have to do this sustainability case where you have to answer 5 questions, and at the end you have to incorporate class concepts and write this 2,000 word essay with all your group mates. So
mm.
there is a group project component included in a lot of courses. Other than maybe ones about statistics, probably those are more independent and those are more like the skill you learn from it rather than the teamwork and all that. Yeah, but for a lot of courses, this group assignment component is included.
So I think in this session of chit chat, I got a few points. So in order to have a better and a good study environment or study routine in the UBC is that you need to have a really good self-discipline to manage
Mm,
your time, to manage your workloads. You need to be really organized of
mhm,
what you have learned. Drop some main points and what will you do with all the readings? So I think this for this part, I think Eugene have really shared lots of really good, a lot of good tips to the students. I think in this next session, Eugene is going to tell us, give us more tips on how he lives in the UBC, not UBC, in Canada. So I will see you next time. So everyone, please, if you have any comments, any feedback, please write down there under the comment box. So I will see you next time. Bye,
See you.
Eugene. See
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.